What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lieutenant Nathaniel Flint of the Landship Scorpios, and we're doing a strange, a little bit sad, hopefully short video today. I'm doing a video kind of just calling a shot. Hopefully I will get this video done enough that we won't get an update that contradicts it immediately. But I have a feeling Rivet Wars will be delayed once more. For those of you who don't know, we just recently finished up the quote-unquote final Pledge Manager opening. They did the shipping payments were out. By March 22nd, we had about 60% of them completed, and it was supposed to close April 2nd so that they could finish up mass production and hopefully get those shipped off to fulfillment centers to start the fulfillment process. However, a few people pointed out some interesting things, and some discourse has started to grow as we've gone deeper and deeper into April without any updates. This was March 22nd when the last update was posted. And by the time this gets out, it'll probably be April 22nd. I kind of expected an update sometime around April 2nd or something, confirming that the Pledge Manager had closed and kind of getting us ready for more updates of mass production, cute little behind the scenes things, kind of building the hype train for fulfillment and then thus retail release. But it's kind of been nothing, and I really didn't want to do anything negative at all until fulfillment was a thing. But I do want to say, I think I'll do a short little video kind of sneaking something in there. So the last time we received an update was September 11th, 2023, where we got a production update where they had to push back the Rivet Wars fulfillment. They've actually pushed back a lot of things. They had a lot of things that they just weren't sure about. Things were impacted by the Chinese New Year they weren't expecting. So they pushed a lot of things back. And this was the update we had. And when you look at this, you start to notice something that they haven't brought up. That they are way behind. So mass production was supposed to begin December 2023, which, as we know, it did not officially start until at least late March. They kind of told us that April 2nd, they wanted those final numbers so that they could get everything done so that mass production can be in full force, go, and get fulfilled. So already that's red flags. We can see they said March 2024, pledges were going to ship to the global fulfillment centers from their Chinese production places, we assume. That obviously didn't happen in a big way. And then we can see that April 2024 pledges were supposed to arrive at the fulfillment hubs so that they could process them and get them out. And then in May, the hubs were going to post out the pledges to you. And then we weren't sure how long shipping would be. For some, it would be fast. For some, it would be maybe another month. But as you can tell, they didn't even have final numbers to give mass production until April 2nd. But some people point out that the Pledge Manager didn't even close until later that week. I believe it was the 9th, I think is what people said. Later that week would have been the 5th or 6th. But I think I saw someone say that it was still open as of the 9th. And that was kind of left open later with no fanfare. And of course, we didn't get any updates. The last update being March 22nd. We got nothing talking about any sort of updates at all. And confirming that it had been closed, giving us cute little updates. Oh, it's off to be fixed. And actually, everything was kind of quiet for a long time. And now we're reaching the end. I'm recording this towards the end of April, and hopefully we'll get this out by the 22nd of April. We've had nothing. There's no social media. There's no anything. I think that the next update is going to confirm that fulfillment in May is probably not going to happen, and this is heartbreaking. This is absolutely heartbreaking to me. I really was looking forward to this. I really wanted to have a summer of Rivet Wars, and this is extremely heartbreaking to me. And there's just been in general a lack of communication that is extremely heartbreaking on Steamforged Games' side. Some people have pointed out, and of course I've noticed, I've been trying to do my best, that there really isn't a lot of social media surrounding Rivet Wars while we are drowned in their other big projects. Now, to be fair, a lot of projects do seem to go silent while they're in the production phase. Despite what we were told for Rivet Wars, Steamforged Games doesn't seem to do a lot of in-progress updates for their projects. It seems to be hype for whatever the next new thing is, updates on when things are closing and going into pre-production and hopefully production, and then kind of hyping out whatever is hitting retail or whatever is being fulfilled. So it could be a thing where it's just the way the company runs, that they don't really do a lot of updates. But I mean, in general, it's been hard enough keeping on a one update a month schedule for Rivet Wars. The way that they've done it, sometimes it stretches a little bit where we're not actually getting one update a month, which we'll be doing like a feedback video after fulfillment and after the goods of hopefully gushing over this game, gushing over the minis, kind of having some positive. I had an idea for one that was maybe a little negative, but with basically this being, I mean, if we're only mass production begins in theory, that's December. We're more than 4 months behind. So when you look at that, us about to be going into May, if they haven't even shipped things to the global fulfillment hubs, I mean, this is several months apart. So, I mean, we could be looking at not even getting Rivet Wars until the end of the summer into another year, like around September when the Kickstarter was. Like, we could be looking not even getting it until then. I mean, that could be until fulfillment. And then with shipping, they could be trying to ship these prime holiday shipping time, which is late fall into that early winter into Christmas. That could be a nightmare. And honestly, I'm just kind of disappointed. I've been trying very hard to keep the hype train going, to keep information out. But with this last pledge manager being open, with them really needing people to finish up their pledges and pay for shipping and anything else, they've been doing nothing on the social medias. The Rivet Wars Instagram, the Rivet Wars Twitter, the Rivet Wars Facebook page are just completely barren. The Rivet Wars YouTube, just completely barren. No updates whatsoever. Not even to say, hey, get your pledges done. Like, we need these to go into mass production. And honestly, that's really heartbreaking. Especially since I hope I've shown how little would be needed to keep up Rivet Wars. I've been doing unit stuff, talking about some of the cards, signal boosting their updates, talking about stuff like even throwing up some very low effort and low skilled graphics to tell people they got to get their pledges done and things. Like, I was the only thing doing that on any of the Rivet Wars hashtags or anything like that. Or maybe they didn't feel a need to do it because I'm out there doing it. But I mean, you look at some of the effort I put in to get Rivet Wars content out there, and you're looking at things that's only reaching in the tens of people. If I'm lucky, maybe 50, 60 people. Any of these same posts on the Rivet Wars Instagram, on the Rivet Wars Twitter, on the Rivet Wars Facebook would get thousands, maybe even more, of eyes on it, attention, keeping that in people's mind as we approach fulfillment and as we approach retail, like just getting the hype train going. And it's really been heartbreaking to not see that. I know that Steamforged Games had a massive layoff where they laid off a bunch of people last year, and we were told that their projects were not affected, but it's just hard to not notice that they keep going on to the next thing, the next IP. And I mean, some of their stuff is bigger than Rivet Wars. I mean, they have Dead Souls, they have Horizon stuff that are all IP'd products that do a lot bigger because of the IP name behind them. But Rivet Wars really holds its own as a custom, hopefully a fully owned by them IP. Like, it's doing pretty good, and it would have the chance to grow and have the audience it needs. Everyone who gets their hands on Rivet Wars end up loving it. Since the Rivet Wars Reloaded Kickstarter, we have had the Rivet Wars community grow with people who missed the Kickstarter, who are just excited, heard about the game, even found classic Rivet Wars Eastern Front and introduced it to their gaming groups, and they love it, and they found Reloaded's happening, and there is additional hype. I've done my best to try to reach out to those people about late pledges, and apparently we've gotten many of them to do late pledges on top of it. So there is a community that is interested in it. It's just, it feels like it's almost being shot in its own foot, because it's just not given the chance it deserves to grow as its own IP. And honestly, if I was the team behind it, in control of it, I mean, you could be doing little comics. Like, I mean, the Rivet Wars comics was a big, iconic thing from classic Rivet Wars. And even Jamie talked about, yeah, we're going to try to do some stuff with it in Reloaded because it's such an iconic thing. Posting little, even if they're not high standard, super high quality, just some little Rivet Wars comics, getting people into the world, talking about some of the ideas, like even something as simple as get the objective, run through the trenches to go faster, like things like that, to get some of the gameplay ideas planted in people's heads, but like put out there and generating that content, that hype that people can happen upon, see, fall in love with the IP. That helps build the hype going into retail launch. And we're just not seeing it, and it's just really sad. So right now, I'm very worried, especially without any updates. I'm very worried that we are looking at late summer, late autumn before we even get Rivet Wars Reloaded in our hands. And that's heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking after the first one, but I didn't want people to be in a crunch. I didn't want people to have to rush. I didn't want a rushed product either. I wanted Rivet Wars to take the time it's needed. And everything we've seen, we got to see the PDFs. It just was really good. I did a bunch of videos on them. Like, it really did help bring a bunch of excitement into the game. But, oh, you guys can't even see this stuff. I'm such an idiot. You can't even see that other stuff. I might as well have just done this as a video. This is the old timeline, the last time we got any sort of timeline. But it's just one of those things where it's like, any amount of social media things, like you have the art that you've released now. You could have given us high quality art. You could have given us cards. You could have talked about some of the updates or some of the things that have been altered based on feedback from the PDF times. Like, there's a lot of little things you could have been doing on social media to really help keep interest and thoughts on Rivet Wars, prepping for fulfillment. And when things aren't going well, I know that it's this weird mindset of it's not professional to admit that there are hiccups in the system. I am just one of those believers of, you're better off admitting to it and accepting it and being like, guys, we had some issues with the production and we didn't have this right. we had to go through 3 or 4 rounds of getting the proofs done in a way that we liked it. I mean, I reached out to them about doing interviews about, hey, what was modeling like? What changed from you were modeling this unit and you had this great idea and it looked great and it was amazing, but when you were talking with the mass producing and talking about materials and stuff, you realized that you had to change this, or they had to change their stance, you had to do this, because how mass production and the life of the models work. You need to change how certain things, you have to thicken the sword here. Like, those things are very interesting and help keep interest in the IP alive while it's being in production. And I can't just help but be like, they laid off a bunch of people, and now they're running on a smaller team who's trying to keep up with Kickstarter, and then also we have a bunch of Kickstarters up in the air. So when fulfillment comes, it's a smaller team trying to fulfill. And I just really hope that that's not to the detriment of this. And I also really hope that they go, guys, Rivet Wars didn't do the Kickstarter we thought it would. It wasn't really a big project, and we didn't do any hype for it. We fulfilled it, and it's up for retail, but no one knows about it, and no one bought it at the first, couple weeks of retail. It's not a good IP. We're not doing anything else with Rivet Wars. And Rivet Wars has such promise. I really think that it can do well if given the chance and given the love and tenderness that it needs. And I just really am sad to see it, again, from my limited perspective as an outsider, outside of what Steamforged Games is doing. It's just sad. It looks like it's just not getting that attention as a big IP name, as another Dead Souls board game, or another, whatever else that they're getting out with another IP, or the next big thing they're doing, Halo the board game. Like, it's just like, come on. This could do well, and because it's not an IP you're paying for the rights for, they bought Rivet Wars. It's theirs. It's in their hands. I just believe that it can do so well if given the chance, and it doesn't need to be bigger than those IP games. Those IP games have a lot going for them. Well-established IPs with a lot of fans who love that stuff. And they're probably good games. Like, I don't even want to disparage them. Those models for the Horizon game, the board game, are amazing. Like I will gush about those as well. It's just, man, you wouldn't need to do as big or numbers with IP you own, as long as it's successful and beautiful. And Rivet Wars is there, and I truly believe that whatever they do next will also do good, because once you're not just reloading Rivet Wars, you have a new, invigorated group with the Demoans and with all the new stuff you did, who are there for what you do next. For instance, fingers crossed, the Ruskas and Ottomans, they will be there for those Kickstarters. And because it's new, they will show up in droves. This is such a unique IP, and it's so beautiful. And I truly think it's a good game, and I really want it to do well. So let's put a positive spin on this. I really hope that we're not going to hear about more delays. Who knows? Maybe they're just really bad at communication. And in the next few weeks, we're going to get an update that says that they're already on their way to fulfillment centers. And in May, expect fulfillment to begin. And that would be glorious. I really want that to be the case. But hey, if you're a Rivet Wars fan, if you want some help, why don't we put some positivity in the comments down below? Why don't we talk about what kind of things we can do as a community to wait the time until Rivet Wars Reloaded is in our hands? What kind of fan stuff can we do? Can we do a painting contest or something? Can we figure out a way to do this? I've got 2 ideas. I think I'm going to do action cards I haven't done yet from those work in progress PDFs. So maybe I thought that, the game would be fulfilled, so there wouldn't be a lot of use into doing a video. But if it's going to be any amount of delay, I should probably do that video to help spread that gap. I also have a nice little treat. I ended up getting my hands on the Rivet Wars Dice Tower. That was a very limited promotion way back. I'm not even sure it was that big of a promotion in the classic Kickstarter. I ended up getting my hands on it, and I will be scanning that in, and maybe we could do something with that to make sure that we can get a nice little Rivet Wars Dice Tower into more people's hands. So that's fun. That's a fun little idea. So fingers crossed. And again, we technically haven't gotten an April update. If they are doing exactly monthly, trying to put it off, that would be hopefully when this video goes out, April 22nd, when there would be an update. But technically, they've done it in the past. They could also put something out like 29th or April 30th and be like, oh, it still counts as an April update. Hopefully, there'll be no bad news in that update. So fingers crossed. Otherwise, just, show Rivet Wars some love on its social media. Maybe they'll start posting on it as we get close to fulfillment and thus retail release. Fingers crossed, I really hope we do. Also, there's been so many of you who have joined the community and started posting paints and things. That is super cool. And I'm here for it. Share those with hashtag Rivet Wars or hashtag Rivet Wars Reloaded. Maybe not Reloaded. That might not be relevant. But definitely hashtag Rivet Wars wherever you are sharing your paints so that the community can see them, and I will share them around whenever I can. The official community stuff will be down below in the description. So I will see you guys. Hopefully this video didn't go too long. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.